Hi guys, welcome to another session of News in 30 minutes. Today, let us discuss some of the important issues on the 12th of January 2024. 12th of January 2024 is very special because it is on this day that Swami Vivekananda was born. We are celebrating 161st birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, and we dedicate the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda to all the youth of this country, and hence we celebrate it as National Youth Day. It is a day that the youth of this country should take it as a courageous day to start contributing to the society positively. Okay, that is the main reason why we celebrate the birthday of Swami Vivekananda as the National Youth Day. Okay, with that, let us start off with the first issue of the day, that is to do with what is the National Youth Day. Swami Vivekananda's birth anniversary is celebrated as the National Youth Day, and it is celebrated in order to encourage the youth of this nation to contribute positively to our society. Okay, Swami Vivekananda is a very important personality in your UPSC preparation or otherwise because of Swami Vivekananda's teachings and principles. So let us learn a little bit more about Swami Vivekananda that can help us in our UPSC preparation as well. Okay, so as I've already told, his birthday is celebrated as National Youth Day. Okay, however, you should also know one more day. Another day is September 11th, 1893. On this day, Swami Vivekananda gives a speech. Swami Vivekananda gives a speech at the Parliament of Religions. Swami Vivekananda gives a speech at Parliament of Religions, and hence this day is celebrated as the World Brotherhood Day. The World Brotherhood Day. So this is about Swami Vivekananda's important events that are celebrated nationally as well as globally. Okay, so the National Youth Day and the World Brotherhood Day. Okay, now coming to Swami Vivekananda, he is known as the father of modern Indian nationalism. Okay, he is known as the father of modern Indian nationalism. The reason is because he is attributed to have sparked the concept of nationalism in the heart of Indian youths. So he is responsible for sparking the concept of nationalism in the heart of Indian youths, and he is also responsible in order to improve the self-confidence of every Indian youth in the country, especially at a time where self-doubt was prevalent amongst Indians. Okay, so that is the contribution of Swami Vivekananda. Okay, his guru was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he was a founder. Swami Vivekananda was a founder of Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Mutt. He was the founder of Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Mutt. Ramakrishna Mission was to spread the ideals of his guru, that is the ideas of one Vedanta, and within the Vedanta, the ideas that were spread were Advaita Vedanta. The second was Yoga. Okay, the four parts of yoga that was mainly popularized was Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Gnana Yoga. Okay, these were the four parts of yoga that was promoted. So this is what is the main objective of Ramakrishna Mission, to spread the values of Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta, and then to spread the propagation of yoga and its 4 parts: Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga and Gnana Yoga. Okay, so the headquarters of the Ramakrishna Mutt is in Belur. This is in West Bengal, and it basically takes up spiritual as well as philanthropic works. It takes up spiritual and philanthropic works. Okay, now this Ramakrishna Mutt, it has an ideal to accept and tolerate and respect. Okay, it accepts, tolerates and respects all religions. It accepts, tolerates and respects all religions. So this is the objective of Ramakrishna Matta and Ramakrishna Mission. The next is Swami Vivekananda is said to have worked especially on 5 important dimensions. His work greatly reflects in 5 important dimensions. The 5 dimensions are: one is youth empowerment, the second is spirit of service. This spirit of service in turn helped in our national movement as well. The next is education and knowledge. How important is education was popularized by Swami Vivekananda. The next is unity in diversity. Swami Vivekananda was a proponent of pluralism. And next is spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening which was responsible or which is necessary for personal development. And the last is the materialism balanced with spiritualism. The materialism of the West balanced with the spiritualism of the East. These are some of the important dimensions that Swami Vivekananda contributed immensely in the world as well as especially in India. Okay, some of the important theories that Swami Vivekananda put forward was the theory of action. He said that he had given the saying that work is worship. So this actually tells that we have to work, and that what we work, when we work genuinely, that itself becomes a way to respect God, a way to reach God. He also had given a saying that we should condemn none. We should condemn none. If we can stretch a helping hand, if we can stretch a helping hand, then we have to do so. However, if we cannot stretch an helping hand, then we should at least bless our brothers. We should bless our brothers and let them go their own way. Okay, and let them go their own way. So these are the 2 important quotes of Swami Vivekananda which gave the theory of action. Okay, another proponent of Swami Vivekananda's theories was in the realm of education. Swami Vivekananda, he told that education is where we have to balance values with skills. Only skills will not do. We have to balance values with skills. That is one. It was Vivekananda who also told that we have to balance physical education with mental health or meditation, having a strong mind, having a determined mind. So he emphasized not only on physical education but also on mental aspects of education, that is to have a very strong and positive mental health. So on the realm of education also, Swami Vivekananda has contributed immensely. The next is, if we take his literary works, with respect to yoga, as I just spoke about the 4 parts of yoga that is taught in the Ramakrishna Mission, he has written a book on each parts. That is a book on Raja Yoga, a book on Karma Yoga, a book on Gnana Yoga, and a book on Bhakti Yoga. These are the 4 books written. Along with this, he has also written My Master and lectures from Colombo to Almora. Lectures from Colombo to Almora. So these are some of the books that are literary works that are written by Swami Vivekananda. Okay. So finally is famous quotes. There are very famous quotes of Swami Vivekananda. I'll not read the entire thing about the quotes, but I'll just read it out. You can just listen to it, pause it and write it in your notes if you want. The first and the most famous is the arise, awake and stop not until the goal is reached. Stop until and not stop until the goal is reached. So this is the very, very famous quote which you have to apply in your life until the life is there with you. Okay, it is not that it should be applied only till you clear this exam. This should always be there day in and day out. You should always stop not until your goal is reached. The next is another famous saying, that is condemn none. This is a very, very famous quote. Condemn none. If you can stretch out a helping hand, do so. If you cannot, fold your hands, bless your brothers and let them go their own way. Remember that this quote was given even in ethics for you to elaborate. Okay. So this is about the quote of condemn none. The third is the quote about the more we can do good to others. Do good to others. So let me read out this quote. This is again a very famous one. The more we come out and do good to others, the more our hearts are purified. I'll repeat. The more we come out and do good to others, the more our hearts are purified. Okay. The fourth one is as famous as the other quotes. That is the greatest religion. The greatest religion is to be true to your own nature. The greatest religion is to be true to your own nature. Hence, have faith in yourself. This is how Swami Vivekananda inspired the youth of this nation. I repeat again, the greatest religion is to be true to yourself, and that is how you have faith in yourselves. Okay. The next one is, again, we are searching God in different places, but what Swami Vivekananda very simply puts is, where can we find God if we cannot see Him in our own hearts? So he says, God is residing in our own hearts. Why are we searching Him elsewhere? I'll just repeat. Where can we find God if we cannot see Him where can we find God if we cannot see Him in our own hearts? Okay. And the last quote is a very famous quote I dedicate to each and every user watching this video. And I hope this particular quote inspires you to keep doing what you do. And that quote is, all power is within you and you can do anything and everything. Okay, write this quote in your room, and when you get up every day in the morning, look at this. Imagine Swami Vivekananda. Imagine the youth of Swami Vivekananda when he gave this quote, and imagine his purpose to give such a mantra to all the youth of this nation. All power is within you and you can do anything and everything. So keep this in your mind and always be inspired and keep working hard. Okay. So these are some of the famous quotes given by Swami Vivekananda. I hope this was helpful. This again is a day where you have to celebrate, and this is again a day where you cherish about these principles that were far more progressive from the time that Swami Vivekananda was there. That is very, very relevant in today's time. So with that, let us complete the first issue and then go to the second issue of the day. The second issue is GM mustard, a genetically modified crop, has yielded flat as against the non-GM ones. See, the report shows that the yield of non-GM hybrid variety is actually marginally higher than GM1. Then, what is the point of having a genetically modified mustard crop. Okay, so now let us dissect each and every aspect of this particular article and learn from exam perspective. Okay, now the reason why GM mustard is important is because GM mustard is a type of oil seeds. India imports around 60% of its oil seeds, and because it imports 60% of its oil seeds, most of its foreign currency is spent on this import. Imagine after oil and gold, the next product that we import is oil seeds. So if we have to make sure that our import bill is reduced, we have to make sure that we grow more oil seeds rather than importing more oil seeds. Another fact I'll tell you is India is the largest producer of oil seeds. However, India is also the largest consumer of oil seeds. Okay, in this producer and consumer there is a huge gap, and to cover that gap we are importing oil seeds. Okay, so this is the background about oil seeds. So to bring some type of self-sufficiency, we came up with something called GM mustard. GM mustard, as the name suggests, is genetically modified mustard. Okay, now let me just give you a background of what has happened. The GM mustard is completely a indigenously developed technology. Okay, so the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee had given the approval for commercialization. It had given the approval for field trials, and after the field trials it had also given the approval for commercialization of GM mustard. So when it had given the approval for commercialization of GM mustard, a lot of petitions were filed in the Supreme Court regarding this commercialization of GM mustard. So when the petitions were filed, the Supreme Court asked for the documents that revealed what is happening regarding the field trials, and when these documents were taken and seen, it was seen that the yield of the crop, the GM crop is not as high as we thought it to be. It was predicted that the yield of the GM crop would be 30% higher. However, by looking at this particular document, the Supreme Court has told that the increase in the yield is just 0.09% compared to the non-GM crops. Okay, so this is the issue that is happening with GM mustard. So let us wait and see what the decision the Supreme Court will take. However, we have to learn about GM mustard as well as some other aspects for this exam, which we are going to concentrate now. So the GM mustard is known as DMH11. Okay, it is known as DMH11. This is a completely indigenously developed mustard variety that is known as Dara mustard hybrid. It is known as Dara mustard hybrid. Okay, the next is it is developed using a genetic male sterile technique. They will make the male sterile, so that is why it is known as genetic male sterile technique. And this genetic male sterile technique is given the name Barstar-Barnes technique. Okay, it is given the name Barstar-Barnes technique. Okay, and the reason why the genetically modified mustard is brought is mainly to make it herbicide resistant. So basically, by making it herbicide resistant, the crops are now resisting any type of pest attack, and in turn it will help in the production of GM mustard. And this herbicide resistant is very, very important because there is a type of herbicide, glufosinate ammonium, and this glufosinate ammonium is very, very dangerous herbicide. So by using this glufosinate ammonium, it is actually doing more damage to the health of the ecosystem. Hence, to stop this, to have any type of effect from this, GM mustard becomes very, very important. Okay, anyways, basically the GM mustard is to make sure that it is herbicide resistant. Okay, the next information is The GM mustard, the commercialization of GM mustard. Okay, once the commercialization of GM mustard is done, this DMH crop, that is DMH 11, will now be regulated. It will now be regulated under Seed Act. It will be now be regulated under Seed Act. Okay, so this is the background of GM mustard, which is completely indigenously developed. Okay, now it was Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee that gave the permission for the field trials as well as commercialization. So let us look at a little bit about the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. So basically, this is, as the name suggests, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee is under the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Okay, and it is a statutory body that is created under Environment Protection Act 1986, and it is in charge of genetically modified products. It is in charge of genetically modified products, and what it does is, these genetically modified products, before you let go of these products into the market, first it allows approval of field trials, and after the approval of field trials, it will then allow commercialization of that particular genetically modified crop. So that is the main job of this Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee. So I hope you understood what is GEAC. The next is, what is this mustard cultivation in India? Okay, so first of all, mustard is a rabi crop. Okay, mustard is a rabi crop. Second, so it is grown in winter season. It is grown in winter season. As I've already told, mustard is an oil seed. Okay, and the states where mustard is grown is mainly Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and Rajasthan has the highest production of mustard. Hence, Rajasthan is called as mustard state. It is called as mustard state of India. And the next is, there is an Indian variety that is grown, that is known as Varuna. There is an Indian variety of mustard that is known as Varuna, which is very famous. The one more reason why mustard becomes very important is 50 to 60% production of honey in India. 50 to 60% of production of honey in India is basically mustard honey. So these honeybees, they pollinate on mustard plant, and this is how they collect honey. And look at this, 50 to 60% of India's honey comes from mustard. So any type of modifications in mustard will have huge impact on honeybees, and this impact can in turn impact the honey industry. As you know, honey industry in India is cottage based, agro based industry, and it has huge employment of generally small farmers and landless farmers. So if it impacts the honeybees and honey industry, it will impact the poor, small as well as landless laborers of this country. Hence, mustard cultivation and any impact on this mustard cultivation is very, very critical to handle, because any type of imbalance may not only affect the ecosystem but will also affect the poor, small, marginal and landless farmers in India. Okay, so this is the entire backup. So I hope, the backdrop. So I hope you understood what is this GM mustard crop, what is the issue happening regarding the Supreme Court case, and what is GM mustard, what is GEAC, and mustard cultivation in India. Okay, so I think I have given an entire coverage of how you exactly have to prepare from the exam point of view when you take a topic. Again, this gives you the prelims orientation or prelims perspective of how to go about a topic. See, search mainly for factual dimensions. The more you search for factual dimensions, you will be thorough with the topic from prelims perspective. Okay, let us go to the next issue of the day. The next issue of the day is Swachh Survekshan Awards 2023 has been announced. Surat and Indore together have been awarded the first place for knowing as the cleanest cities. Okay, they are the they are given the first place for both Indore and Surat to be known as cleanest cities. Okay. Now look at this. Swachh Survekshan was in news. Now look how I will generate point from prelims perspective. Okay. Now people will give you different tables of which state won, what one, which one. By reading those tables will not help you. Let me just give you how you have to generate points from prelims perspective so that you can predict questions or you can answer questions in the prelims exam. The first, so let us start then. So if I take Swachh Survekshan, first of all, conceptually you have to understand that this is a ranking. This is a ranking of cities on the basis of certain parameters in order to check the cleanliness of the cities. So this is English, everyone can predict, so I'll keep it simple. That is it. It is ranking of cities in order to, on certain parameters, in order to assess the cleanliness of the cities. Now, the first one. The first is, it is the world's largest annual survey. It is the world's largest annual survey. The second is, it is conducted by Ministry of Housing. It is conducted by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Conducted by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The next is the third point. The responsibility of carrying out the assessment. The responsibility of carrying out the assessment is done by Quality Council of India. The responsibility of carrying out the assessment is done by the Quality Council of India. This survey is conducted under the ambit of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. It is conducted under the ambit of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Okay. Now the awards for this Swachh Survekshan are given by the President of India. Okay. The awards are given by the President of India. Okay. Now this Swachh Survekshan started in 2016, and in 2016 the assessment or evaluation was done in only 73 major cities. Okay, in 2016 the assessment was done only on 73 major cities. Now in 2023 the assessment covers 4,477 cities. Okay, the next seventh dimension is Indore, that has won again the award for the cleanest city along with Surat. But Indore, if you take, Indore has won the Swachh Survekshan title for 7th year in a row. It has won Swachh Survekshan title for 7th year in a row. Okay, and the last dimension that I want to give is, overall there are 110 awards. Okay, overall there are 110 awards, and the national categories amongst them are 20 awards. Others are less than national. It is zonal, municipal, the cantonment. So there are different zonal awards also that are given. But at the national categories, amongst this 110 awards, you have 20 awards that are at the national categories. Look, this is how you have to collect information regarding Swachh Survekshan from prelims perspective. So I hope you got this. So these are nothing but factual dimensions. So whenever, let us say that there is a statement telling Swachh Survekshan helps in removing open defecation, it has made different cities defecation free, all this is English. Anyone can predict and deduce that answer is correct. You have to only get the factual dimensions that you have to revise, so that factual dimensions are the one that will help you deduce the answer. Remember, in prelims, elimination is gone. So you cannot use one statement to eliminate options. You have to have a very good command over this factual dimension. So I hope you get an hang of this. Okay. Finally, so this is from the prelims perspective. From the mains perspective, what Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs has told is, this Swachh Bharat mission as well as Swachh Survekshan has made every city of India open defecation free. Okay, it has made every city of India open defecation free, which is again a very proud moment for India. Now also with respect to scientific Also with respect to scientific processing of waste. With respect to scientific processing of waste, in 2014, the scientific processing was 15 to 16%, but in 2023, it has gone to almost 76%. This is another achievement. And the minister says that in the couple of years, by 2025, there will be 100% processing, scientific processing of waste. As you know, the Delhi Declaration, okay, the Delhi Declaration of G20 Summit that happened in India, the Delhi Declaration said that we aspire to achieve 100% solid waste management, that is 100% scientific processing of solid waste management. So in the lines of our promise, we are progressing towards that particular promise. So these are some of the important aspects from mains perspective. So this is how you have to differentiate between studying from prelims and mains. That is why it is very, very important for you to know that don't integrate your mains preparation with your prelims preparation. That is a very stupidest way of studying. Mains has its own different dimensions to collect. Prelims has its own different dimensions to correct. This is the time where you start your prelims preparation. For your mains, for now, keep tuning into news in 30 minutes. That is more than enough. Keep revising your optional for a couple of hours, but the rest of the day, keep making sure that you revise your prelims thoroughly. Get as much of factual dimensions as possible. Revise those dimensions as many times as possible so that you are thorough with your facts in every topic, in every basic subject. If you do so, no one can stop you from clearing prelims. With that, let us get on with the last issue of the day. The last issue is an editorial, and in this editorial, they have very beautifully explained regarding fire hazards. Okay, so the author says the awareness and deterrence is the key to reducing fire hazards. Fire incidents causing mass deaths and destruction in urban and factory areas have been neither less numerous nor less catastrophic. Okay, so basically, this author gives a holistic view of fire hazards. Okay, on one side, the author says there is a UN report. There is a UN report of 2022, and this UN report says that the number of wildfires, okay, the number of wildfires has increased by 14%. Oh, I'm sorry, the number of wildfires will increase by 14% by 2030, and it will increase by 50% by 2050. Okay, this is the first substantiation that the author does, that we are moving towards an age where fire hazards are going to become common. The UN report 2022 says the wildfires is going to increase by 14% by 2030, 50% by 2050. The next is the author, this is regarding wildfires. Now the author says, it takes another report and talks about fire incidents. Okay, so fire incidents, the author takes the report of NCRB, and the author says, according to the 2021 report of NCRB, there were 8,491 fire incidents in India. Okay, there was 8,491 fire incidents in India, where the casualty was greater than 8,000 deaths. So on two lines, one is wildfire, another is fire incidents. These are the two aspects of fire hazards. Okay, so fire hazards can have wildfires, fire hazards can also have fire incidents. So the author says these are the two aspects that are something that we have to look out for in our country. Okay, now if you take wildfires in India, wildfires are basically regulated. Wildfires are basically regulated by one, the Indian Forest Act 1927. One is our regulation of wildfires happens via Indian Forest Act 1927. The second is the state laws. The state government will implement laws, and these laws in turn will make sure that they regulate wildfires. The next is, if you take fire incidents, again the important aspect is the state laws. Okay, it is the state laws that will create fire stations licensing and design of the buildings. So everything is regarding state laws. So this is how wildfires and fire incidents are regulated in India. Now let me come to the challenges. Okay, if we come to the challenges, the problem with the challenges, one, Indian Forest Act. Okay, Indian Forest Act 1927. So it says that according to Indian Forest Act section just give me a minute. According to Indian Forest Act section 26 of B, okay, according to this act, it says that the punishment is for 6 months or a fine of rupees 500 for if anyone sets fire, okay, if anyone sets fire in reserve forest. Okay, if anyone sets fire in reserve forest, then according to section 26 of B, Indian Forest Act, that person is going to get 6 months of imprisonment or rupees 500 fine. The second is the state laws. So you have Maharashtra, you have Assam and you have Gujarat, which have their own specific laws that are very, very effective. See, overall, I would like to say that more than 25 states have their own specific laws, including Delhi. I'm talking about including Delhi. It has its own specific fire hazard law. Okay. However, the problem is Maharashtra, Assam and Gujarat, the law is very, very effective. But in most states, the law is having a lot of leniency. The reason why we tell that is, if you take Karnataka, if you take Tamil Nadu and if you take Odisha, for any type of for any type of fire hazard that is done in the forest, the fine is only 500 rupees. Okay, so look at the leniency in the laws in most of the states. Okay, that is the challenge regarding state laws. The one more challenge with regarding state laws is there is no uniformity. Each state has its own laws and there is no standards. So when there is no standards, that again creates a problem. And because there is no standards and it creates a problem, the central government has come up with something called Model Fire Act. Okay, so this Model Fire Act tries to create uniformity with respect to, let us say, how many fire stations should be there, how many licensing regulations should be there, or what are the punishments for any type of fire incidents that is done because of negligence. So this is nothing but uniformity. So this Model Fire Act is created, but no states are taking this Model Fire Act seriously. Okay, now coming to the fire incidents, I told you these fire incidents are also basically regulated by the state laws, but the central government has also released something called National Building Code 2016. Okay, National Building Code 2016. So this National Building Code 2016 has created a very good design in order to reduce any type of casualty in fire accidents, in order to reduce the incidence of fire accidents, and also to have a proper design so that any fire can be put off. However, again, the implementation of this code at the state level has been very, very low. Okay, so in these ways, the fire hazards, okay, these are the ways. So let me summarize. So fire hazards are of two types: one, wildfires and fire incidents. So in wildfires, the author takes the credibility of the UN report telling that by 2030, the wildfires will increase by 14% and by 2050 it will increase by 50%. And fire incidents, the author takes the support of NCRB and says that there were 8,491 fire incidents causing more than 8,000 deaths in India. And with respect to regulation of wildfires, we have Indian Forest Act as well as state laws. More than 25 states plus Delhi have enacted their own state laws. And the fire incidents, again, the states are the ones that regulate these fire incidents because they are the ones who will take over or who look after the building designs and the regulation of building designs. Okay, so the challenges within our fire hazards is, first, Indian Forest Act within its section 26B has very, very minimal punishment. Okay, and if there is any fire set off in the reserve forest, then there is 6 months of imprisonment or 500 rupees of fine. Next, the state laws that are enacted, 25 states have enacted along with Delhi. However, few states have done a good job like Maharashtra, Assam and Gujarat, However, but most states are suffering from something called leniency. That shows there is no seriousness, because any type of wildfires will attract only rupees 500 fine. The next is non-uniformity in the state laws is another problem. Okay. Now, fire incidents is in regulating fire incidents also is a problem because of non-uniformity of laws. So what has the central government done? In order to, as a solution, the central government has given two solutions. The first solution is the Model Fire Act. This gives uniformity in the state regulation of fire hazards. The second is the National Building Code 2016. This provides a proper design in order to reduce casualty and to reduce any type of fire incidents within industries or buildings. So, by implementing the Model Fire Act and National Building Code 2016 in its spirit, we can definitely regulate as well as control fire hazards in India. Okay, so this is the article about fire hazards. Very good, very well written, and I hope you got an understanding of what fire hazards are. Okay, so these were some of the important issues of the day. So if you have enjoyed the video, please make sure that you like, share and subscribe. Okay, so the more you share and the more views we get, the more incentivized we are to do this on a daily basis. All right, so thank you so much for all the love and support, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye.